Hello everybody. Today in this session we'll discuss a new chapter, and the chapter title is Global Marketing Strategies. And today our learning objectives will be understanding significance of the global marketing. We'll understand the significance of the global marketing. Then we'll be understanding selecting the potential market or selecting a potential market. Then we'll be understanding the impact of environmental forces on global marketing. Then we'll be understanding the method of entering a new market. Then we'll be knowing about the types of marketing organization. Then we'll be understanding how to develop a global marketing strategies. Then marketing strategies of MNCs in India. So for this session we have a lot of activities to conduct, and I will give you the activity details also. Now this is basically the overview of the today's session. Now we'll start discussion on the significance of global marketing. Now, as in significance of global marketing, we can discuss three main areas. Like first area is saturation of the domestic market. When a company run business in a particular country, the domestic market gets saturation, or saturation comes in the domestic market. Now after this, company need to look beyond that particular geographical area. So this is one significance of global marketing. Then another is rapidly growing technological advancement. Due to the technological advancements, marketers are able to produce a product at lesser price, and companies are able to make good quality product with a very affordable price. And if company expand their activities business in other countries, they can sell products in a large scale, and economics of scale can be increased. Then another reason is that liberalization in many developing or underdeveloped countries are following liberalization of the domestic industrial policies, like in India. In India also, in the year 1990, economic liberalization, privatization, globalization policy were being adopted. So like this, many developing countries have liberalized their economic policy, and due to that, their domestic companies are able to go beyond that geographical area, and the developed countries company are also coming to the developing and underdeveloped countries. So liberalization, globalization, and privatization policy, these are adopted by developing countries, developed countries, and underdeveloped countries also. Nowadays we can consider the whole world as a global village, because due to the rapid expansion of the information technology, we know that a small company also can reach to anywhere through internet. If the company have website, online marketing, then third-party arrangement. All of you know about the Flipkart, Amazon. Okay, so the whole world became like a global village. Okay, so in this regard, you can understand the significance of the global marketing. Why every company need to go global. Then next is selecting a potential market. Now companies, those who are operating at the global level, they need to select a potential market from where they can generate, sufficient profit. Otherwise, company may incur loss also. So for selecting a potential market, company need to follow some steps or some techniques through which they can estimate a market as a potential market. Now initially company need to think that what they will produce for a market and who will be the buyer. If buyer purchase, then what the buyer will do with that particular product. Then what factors will influence the buyer to purchase that particular product. Okay, so these are the some area where the company need to give focus. Then globally there are some free economic trade zone, free trade zone. So the company need to identify those free trade zone also. Like in the European countries, they have one free trade zone. Okay, so like this free trade zone also company need to consider, and based on that they need to think about the market potentiality. Now after that, like company need to think about the macro environmental factors. Macro environmental factors like political environment, legal environment, economic environment, technological environment, all these macro environmental factors company need to do assessment. Like if a country is politically unstable, okay, political stability is not there, so it is not a favorable decision for any company to invest money in that particular region or country. So this comes under the political environment. Why macro environmental factors are important, you can understand. Like then per capita income, economic environment. Per capita income is, if it is very low, okay, and GDP is also not up to a standard level, then also investing for a company may be a loss business if the product is a high-end product or costly product, like car like Mercedes. Okay, so they need to do the analysis of the economic environment. How much potential customers are there, people are having the money to purchase that product or not. So this is basically the evolution of the potential market. Then company need to think about the perception of the customers, perception, motivation, personality, learning of the that particular potential market. How customer may perceive the company's product. These also company need to do the assessment. Now after doing all these things, then company may select a potential market. Otherwise, company's product may fail in that particular market. Now we have lot of example like this when the market segmentation, that is basically selecting a potential market means selecting a particular segment of the market to do business with. Okay, now if we say like Kellogg's, when they came in India, initially they failed, they incur huge losses, as because they introduced Kellogg's as a breakfast item, but Indians are not habitual to accept Kellogg's as a breakfast item. So initially they do lot of struggle and it was like a failure. Okay, that time Kellogg's incur huge loss in Indian market. Now this is basically the socio-cultural factors, or in the macro environmental factors, socio-cultural environment, which they have not understand. Okay, so like these things may happen with any company when companies are reaching globally. So selecting a potential market is very vital. Next, we'll go through the impact of environmental forces on global marketing. Impact of environmental forces on global marketing. There we'll discuss some macro environmental factors like economic environment, political environment, socio-cultural environment, legal and regulatory environment, technological environment. These are some environment we'll discuss in brief. Now first we'll start with the economic environment. Economic environment of a nation or of a country depends on the GDP, gross domestic product. Then disposable income. Disposable income is the income which basically left in the hand of the consumer for purchasing goods or availing service. Per capita income. So if per capita income is high, because the marketer need to estimate that in which market they are entering with their product, customer are able to pay or not. Customer may have the willingness to buy, but actually economically customer may purchase or not. And for that, main indicator is the GDP, gross domestic product. If GDP is increasing and if GDP is high, then this is a very positive indication and economy is moving to a positive direction. Then after this, political environment. In the political environment, we need to discuss domestic politics, international politics. So as we are discussing about the global marketing strategies, there we need to discuss the international politics. Now, a few minutes back, I was mentioning that if a country is politically unstable, then it is not a favorable decision for any company to invest in that particular country. Okay, so internationally, the marketer need to understand the political environment of a particular nation or country. After that, they need to take the discussion. They need to take the decision. Then socio-cultural environment. Understanding the social and cultural environment of a particular nation. Now, these things in detail we have discussed in the macro environmental factors in the marketing environment chapter. Okay, so today just from the global marketing point of view, we'll just understand the impact of environmental forces. These are also environmental forces. Okay, so social and cultural environment impact on global marketing. Now, if I say, think global, act local. Think global, act local. This is basically a success slogan for a MNC, because as I said that whole world is coming to a whole world became to a global village. Okay, so in that scenario, when company are launching their product in different countries, they need to keep in mind the socio-cultural structure of that particular country. Otherwise, product will fail. Now, socio-cultural environment basically consists of the social hierarchy. Social hierarchy like that we have discussed, like upper class, middle class, lower class. Okay, there are also more classes are there, like upper class can be divided into 3 categories: upper class, middle upper class, lower upper class. Okay, but from the marketing point of view, there are 4 broad types of the social class are there. These are upper class, then middle class, upper middle class, and lower class. Okay, these are 4 broad category which the global marketer need to consider, and these have impact on the purchase of the product. Then cultural background. In cultural background, we we need to think about the culture and subculture. Okay, if companies are not, keeping in mind the customers' taste and preference, customers, fooding habits, wearing habits, listening habits, then their product may fail. Like I have given the example of Kellogg's cornflakes. Then legal and regulatory environment. In the legal and regulatory environment, every country have their own legal framework and different regulatory bodies. So when a company entering into a foreign country, they need to obey the legal framework and regulatory guidelines provided by that particular country. And if any company follows that, they need to go through different difficult tasks also. Now, considering this legal and regulatory framework and doing business is a very challenging task. And successfully over a period of time, we have seen that multinational companies are doing this. Then technological environment. Technological environment is another factor or force which basically having an impact on the global marketing. Now, if we say about the technological environment, this is basically related to the technological advancement or technological upgradation taking place or innovations taking place. Okay, and what is happening? The marketer is innovating a product. Okay, and they are popularizing that product into the customer segment. Now, when a company having cross-border activities, that time they need to consider the technology for all the countries they are doing business. Like if we think about the electronics goods manufacturing companies or any other technology oriented companies, technology to certain extent, it made easy to do business globally. So any company, they need to consider the technological environment. Otherwise, that will have a negative impact. Like Nokia initially failed. Okay, why Nokia failed? Okay, that all of you know. So that was due to the lack of technological upgradation. Okay, so that happened globally. So these are some, macro environmental factors which always any marketer need to consider very seriously. Otherwise, marketer may fail and their product may incur losses. Now, the next part is methods of entering a new market. In the methods of entering a new market, we will go through different methods through which marketer can enter into a foreign market. Now, among them, few important methods are like direct export, indirect export, licensing, joint venture, and internationalization process. Now, first we will discuss direct exports. Direct export refers to the process through which a company engages a middleman from the country where they want to do business, and through that intermediaries they circulated or distribute the goods to the customers or to other middlemen in that particular region. In the direct export, company may open their exclusive showroom in that particular region or particular country. Similar to the direct export, there is another method of entering into a foreign market is indirect export. Now, indirect export is a process where company engaged a domestic intermediaries to distribute company's product into foreign market. What I said, I repeat again. In the indirect exports, company engaged a domestic intermediaries. Domestic intermediaries means domestic middlemen. Middleman like exporter. Okay. And the responsibility of that middleman or exporter will be to distribute the concerned particular company's product into the foreign market. And it will be from the host country. This is basically difference between the direct and indirect export. In the direct export, what is happening? The companies are engaging the middlemen or intermediaries from the country where they are expanding their business. Okay. And another way of direct export, that company may open their showroom or branch office into that particular country. And indirect export is engaging domestic intermediaries or domestic middlemen to distribute product in the foreign countries. The next method of entering into foreign market is licensing. Licensing is basically a agreement between the two parties, that is basically between the company and another middleman, and company give rights to the other parties to use company's patent, trademark, and to do business on behalf of the company. Then joint venture. In the joint venture method of entering a foreign market, company can joint venture with other companies to enter into a foreign country. Like if we consider Indian market, like in the insurance sector, we see that, you know, in insurance sector, if we say ICICI Prudential, ICICI is a Indian company and Prudential Life Insurance is a foreign company. Same way, HDFC Standard Life Insurance. HDFC, all of you know, it's a Indian company, but Standard Life Insurance is a foreign company. So these are all, you know, joint venture. Then in licensing, you know, like KFC, then Domino's Pizza, they are giving franchising or license. Then another method of entering into the foreign market is internationalization process. Company may establish a internationalization process to establish business internationally. Now, in the internationalization process is a continuous process through which company takes initiative to establish business in different countries, entering into a different new markets, and for that they can set the targets of annual targets, and it will be a continuous work. Now the types of marketing organization. Types of marketing organization, this is basically for the global marketing. In the global marketing scenario, we can see there are, you know, three types of marketing organization. Three types of marketing organization, you know, till now are very successful in running the international business. These are like export division. A company may establish a, you know, wholly subsidiary export division, and the function of the export division will be looking after the company's export in other countries. Like there will be a demand for a particular product. Now if the company is producing that product, now it will be the job of the export division to export the product into those particular countries. Then international division. International division is a part, part of the internationalization process. Like a country having multinational network business, they need to have a international division. Like international division Southeast Asia. So the function of that international division heading Southeast Asia will be looking after the operational, marketing, distribution in the Southeast Asia market. Then global organization. Nowadays, this concept is very, popular due to the emergence of the information technology. Every company have a efforts, to make their presence globally. So in that scenario, those who have global organization separate business or strategic business unit who is looking for the global operation. And globally they do scrutiny that how movements of the goods should be taking place, how distribution should be taking place. Another important feature of the global organization is that they do the assessment of the availability of the raw material at a lesser price in a particular geographic location. After identifying that, they establish the manufacturing hub into that particular region, and from that region they globally distribute the product. This is basically one specialty of the global organization. Global organization, they do identify the location where raw material are available at lesser price, and from that location they start producing and distributing the product into other part of the business where they are operating. Now, developing global marketing strategies. Now, in developing global marketing strategies, we can discuss few strategies related to the product, promotion, pricing, place. Okay, now already these are being carried by all companies. If we look into a global company or MNC, every company have these unique strategies. Now, in the global marketing strategies, if a new company wants to establish or develop global marketing strategies, then they can focus into 4 main areas, and these 4 main areas is developing product strategy. Now, in developing product strategy, company need to think about a standardized product which will be quality oriented and available with a affordable price. Then promotion, developing a promotion strategy. In the promotional strategy, we can include advertising, public relations, sales promotion, personal selling, publicity, all these areas to promote a product globally. In the pricing strategy, company need to make a product which are having quality and available with a affordable price. Now, in deciding the price, company need to go through the pricing of the local product or domestic products where they are trying to enter. After doing the assessment of the competitors' pricing policy, company need to fix their price. Now, when companies are growing globally, distribution is a very difficult task because procurement of the raw material, then producing product, then distributing, okay, and finally customer will purchase. So earlier also said that a global company always looks that where the raw material or labor cost is cheaper, or if it is a capital intensive technique oriented organization, then they will look at the setting industry in the developed countries, because developed countries are more technological oriented. Capital intensive technique means technology oriented. Capital investment is more. And there is another technique, labor intensive technique. Labor intensive technique promotes the engagement of the more labor. Okay, so in deciding pricing strategy, companies need to do this kind of assessment, and then they need to think about the price. Then place is basically related to the distribution. Okay, from where company will distribute, where to distribute, okay, how to distribute. This basically is a very big challenge for all global companies or the companies operating globally. Okay, place strategy related to the distribution of the product or service. So if company is operating globally, so this company need to think how to distribute, where to distribute. Okay, so after scrutinizing all these question answer, the management need to take a feasible decision through which they can earn a long run profit. Now the discussion part. In the discussion part, like first discussion is marketing strategies of MNCs in India with current example. Now there will be a discussion session where we'll be discussing that MNCs operating in India, what kind of marketing strategies they are using. Number one. Second, debate on is globalization a must for the Indian companies in spite of us or we having the largest customer base in India. Then thirdly, a brainstorming session on the impact of environmental forces on global marketing in India with reference to see this one that why I have gone into the depth of the analysis or discussion, because this activity will conduct. So when we will be going through this discussion, you need to read the theory, then you will share your observation, experience. Okay, so that time it will be a very good learning. Then we'll go through one case study on global market entry strategies by Starbucks. Then another case study on ICICI's global strategy, ICICI Bank's global strategy. Then next will be one group discussion on is the export and import policy of India too rigid? Is the export and import policy of India too rigid? Then group discussion on should FDI means foreign direct investment, be allowed in all industry in India. Then last one, a role play session on the developing global marketing strategies by an Indian MNC. A role play session on the developing global marketing strategies by an Indian MNC. So there will be country head, regional sales manager, then zonal manager, sales manager, etc. Then there will develop a script. On that script, there will be a role play session. So thank you everybody. Now just I'll give you the summary today what we have discussed. Now we have discussed, significance of global marketing, then selecting a potential market, the impact of environmental forces on global marketing, methods of entering into a new market, then types of marketing organization, developing a global marketing strategies, then marketing strategies of MNC in India. It will be through activity. Okay, so these all activity which I have shared with you, these are all linked with this particular all topics. So this discussion is very, very important. Now thank you everybody for attending the today's session.